Welcome to the Taco Cast. I'm Crystal,
I will.
and you're our audience on this lovely Sunday. Thank you for joining us. I am mostly in my pajamas. I'm disheveled this entire week. I'd apologize, but I'm actually super comfortable. And my PJs have bats on them. So,
Okay. Well, that was an interesting intro. So today's topic, we're going to talk about your long-term unemployment.
yeah. So for those of you who
Oh,
don't,
the nation's long-term unemployment, not
yeah.
just yours.
So
You're part of it, but
for those of you who don't know, my previous job, I think we discussed a couple of times, had a very erratic work schedule, and it got to the point where it was starting to have a serious detrimental effect on our son. We had a lot of regression. The unpredictability was just not working out for him. So we discussed it, and we made the decision for me to go ahead and put in my notice.
sort of.
Yeah, take a short break of time off. It's like, okay, so we've got enough money set aside. That we could, I could take like a little extended mini vacation, and I'm sure I'll find, a job that suits my needs before the money runs out. Well, I was wrong. Um, uh, I was super picky in those first couple of weeks. I was like, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Oh, I'll play for that one. And now it's just like, what's your requirements? Heartbeat? Yeah, I have an application. Here's my resume. Let's talk. Um, so I actually discovered the the narrative that's going around that you see a lot is, oh my God, all these people are hiring and nobody wants to work, and oh,
I see it daily in the news.
yeah, there's all these jobs and nobody's applying for them, and I'm just like, where are those at? I I would enjoy one job,
My
please.
buddy Joel, he's got 900 applications for one job, one position, 900. And when he went to go fill that one position, he said he called about 65, and of the 65, only about 12 showed up. They didn't even bother to show up for the job app, but they just filled out the application so they could keep their unemployment going.
Well, I did know. So I'm currently doing a big portion of my job search through Indeed.
Yeah.
You were watching me yesterday. Um, but when I was hiring, I noticed that some of these companies, there's some job search companies that will send your resume out to people. And I'm getting resumes and applications for people that aren't at all uh, what we're looking for. And like some of these companies are just sending people's resumes out. And I think probably one of the best examples of that was, we were hiring for people with medical background. We're an anatomical laboratory. And one of these companies is sending me resumes for people who are executive professionals in the hospitality industry who are looking to advance their careers in the hospitality industry. And I'm like, that's not at all what we
Yeah,
do here. Why am I getting these?
You guys deal with dead people and,
Yeah.
and their body parts.
Yeah. And these are executive professionals currently employed, like I said, looking to advance their careers. And I'm like, why am I getting these resumes? Why am I, this isn't anything that we do. And that's when I discovered some of these companies, these employment companies, just spam out resumes to anyone that's got a posting.
But majority wise, I can't speak for the rest of the United States. But for when I see the story on the national news about people don't want to work and they're not applying for work because they are sucking the unemployment tit, and it's normally one political party who's using that talking point over another to try to belittle and diminish workers, who are really struggling to try to find a job. Those who I know who are unemployed, and you included, are doing everything that you can, but to find work, but they're the jobs that they say that are out there that are not hiring. Oh, we have jobs. We'll interview a bunch of people, but we're 3 to 6 months before we actually will hire. Or we're hiring for the seasonal work. And oh, by the way, that doesn't start for another 2.5 months. And
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, but they're putting the job listing out there now so they can get all these resumes and applications in and do interviews for people. And then they tell them, I'm sorry, but we actually are not hiring at this exact minute today, but we would love to offer you a position come the end of January. It's like, what? But you have the job open now. It says immediate help. Yeah, but we've decided that, by infrastructure changing, we can move that around. Now, I have a couple friends who are in the IT business. You would think that they'd be easier than heck, in this industry to be able to hire. We're talking 15, 20 years experience each. And they are not, they're waiting for the next contract to come into the company, but they're hiring. They say they're hiring now, and they keep on putting in their applications. They could put in their resumes. And Devin is, geez, he's extremely qualified. I don't know why he'd want to take something in a lower position. I mean, other than he needs something where he can be more local and not travel as much. And the only reason why he's looking for something else. But, he knows the game. The contract is for XYZ, and if they can do it for with less people on the team, that's more profit for the corporation to be able to tell shareholders on paper, look, we completed this job, boom. And then the next job comes in, they hire a bunch of people initially because they know that they're going to have, tail off, people throughout the entire project where, jobs get done, people leave, or whatever, throughout the entire thing. But it's more money at the end because they're being paid X amount for all these employees across the entire thing. But if they can dip down below that line, by a certain percentage, it's just more money for their pockets. That goes into the coffers. Then the CEO shows that he's had a profit, and then he gets another bonus, at the end of it all. But you know what? We still have that position listed online as an open position. Why didn't somebody apply for it? Then the other party comes out and says, you know what? What you need to do is you need to just go for, look for work. In your case, how much unemployment are you getting there, honey?
Zero.
Zero.
Exactly none.
How many months have you been waiting for the adjudicator in our state to finally finalize your paperwork?
2.5 months.
2.5 months. And how long have you been unemployed?
3.5 months.
3.5 months. And it's been sitting in the last stage of unemployment for 2.5 months, waiting for someone to rubber stamp that, and they have one person who's doing the job for the entire state.
Yeah, last time I called them, actually.
8.5 million people unemployed in our state, and they have one fucking person doing, the last step.
Yeah. The last time I called them, I'm like, are you guys hiring? Because clearly y'all need help, and I'm looking for a job, so sign me up.
Because it's job security.
Yeah. And one of the other things I noticed was, like I said, I had been, picky in the beginning, and now I'm just like, temporary work, 3 months, psh, I'll take it. It's 3 months of money, right? Some of these places that I'm seeing jobs for, and that they're listing, and like you had said, like, urgent hiring, it's unreasonable. Like, one of them wanted minimum 5 years experience, and they were paying minimum wage.
Yeah.
That's not 5 years experience wages. That's entry level wages.
Yeah, Jason was telling me that within his company, they're looking for they put out an ad for experienced electricians. With the minimum, you had to have the certification, qualifications, everything else going through electrical. Been a union member, you have to have all this stuff in your favor, and they're paying below journeyman wage for start on. And then after 90 days, if you work out, then they bump you up. But to start off, who is going to say, you know what? I've been a fully licensed electrician for 20 years. I would love to take a step back to the wage that I was making when I started off my career,
right?
In hopes that in 90 days from now, you find my qualifications and experience valuable enough to give me a living wage. I mean, I see it all the time. And now we have the moratorium on housing, evictions, you know, running out. So they're starting to evict people left and right. And then, you know, you see the comments online and people talking in the media about, you know, why don't you just get a job, you lazy bum, and pay your rent? It's like, oh, okay. Where would you like them to get that job at? I mean, the economy is hurting so much all around. You can throw as much money at it as you want. And again, I'm putting this out on my other channel on 411 now that according to the federal government, the money that was in the stimulus package for, you know, to stop and help, you know, those who have or who lost their jobs and to pay their rent, and those who are landlords who also are falling behind in their bills because they need to pay, you know, their bills because they're not, obviously not collecting rent. There's 179 million dollars that was there in the initial package or something close to that. Like 20% of it has been handed out. The states have been collecting the money. You can bet your last dollar on that. Every single governor in every single state has, you know, gone to the federal government and collected as much as they can, but they're not paying it out to those who are actually in need of it. And it's only a small percentage are actually getting the money at all. What are they waiting for? Oh, that's right, because they're giving themselves bonuses with the COVID money, the stimulus packages.
You know, actually, I was reading about several companies that had gotten the payroll protection money, and then went ahead and laid off their employees, so
Yeah,
they weren't paying them.
yeah. Or in the case of that one that I read about, it was in one was in New York, one was in Boston, and one was in Miami, Florida. Each one of the people individuals said that they owned like, you know, 20 or 30 businesses, and they had 500-600 employees at each and every business. They collected all these millions of dollars. They bought Lamborghinis and yachts and, you know, airplanes and everything else with the money, and they didn't have but two employees between the three companies, the three individuals. I mean, it's insane because the government did zero actual checking. You know, when it came to, you know what, we just handed out this money and we have to get it out there as fast as possible. That was their motive: get it out there as fast as possible to boost up the economy. When all you had to do was just say, okay, you own five companies, you have 500 employees. Let's go to the state database on taxation and see if there's any records of that. I mean, if you had 500 employees, you had to pay some payroll
Yeah,
taxes at
yeah.
some point.
No,
How long would that have taken?
I appreciate. Well, I appreciate the government trying their best to get it out quickly. I want to say that I absolutely do appreciate that because, especially, you know, when individual people have economic uncertainty, you know, like, I appreciate that they tried. Um, I can't imagine that it would be too difficult to correlate that's the, you know, information on companies with requests,
Yeah,
especially because of the databases we have. I can imagine when you're talking hundreds of thousands of requests.
they may have gotten overwhelmed, but still, how much would it take in to hire one person to sit at a computer and who had access to just the state taxation database and said, yes, there have been collected, we have collected funds, you know, taxes on this business, you know, and that's all they had to do was, oh, look, this is an active business. There's taxes have been coming from this business have been collected. Okay, send that money out. But they didn't even do that simple little due diligence at all. But back to unemployment, though, you know, it, I don't know when it's going to get any better.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I've talked to who's in any kind of industry at all, it doesn't matter if they're a small business owner and own just one place, or if they work for a major multi-billion-dollar corporation like the people that Tim works for. They don't know when it's going to rebound and what is actually, when asked directly, what would they feel would be needed to actually rebound. And a lot of them are scared of what right now is, they see a huge spike in inflation coming. That's scaring them. And they're worried about where the economy is going to go in the next 6 to 12 months. They're looking at that. before they make any long-term investments in, as employees, bringing employees back that they may have furloughed, anything. So where Tim works, and other people, like that, and other companies like that, they're waiting that long, additional 6 to 12 months, before they're even going to bring back the people they had before they even go out there and try to find anybody else. And then you have the mandates that are coming down. You go get vaccinated, we got to pokey you, give you 2 shots or 1, and then maybe a booster because you need it.
One thing that I noticed when I was applying for positions is that enforcement of the vaccine mandate seems weird. But first off, um, if you work with vulnerable populations, yeah, we expect healthcare workers to be vaccinated for polio and for hepatitis. You know, um, I have been an immune compromised patient on the oncology floor, where I had like a white cell trying to, take care of my whole self.
Just one.
Just one white cell.
He was doing overtime.
Yeah. So, having been in a position to be straight up murdered by somebody who sneezes on me, I feel that concern from a patient's point of view, and I think if you work with vulnerable populations, that's just you're already expected to do to be vaccinated for.
So how do you feel about mandates for police departments and fire departments and EMTs? Do you think that they should be required as first responders to be vaccinated, or
yes.
do you think that we should, strip them of their constitutional rights and make them be vaccinated?
Well, I don't.
Because it has to be a constitutional right. Because I see it every day on Fox TV.
Making vaccination a condition of employment, I don't see that as that. I mean, it's a condition of employment. You have to do it. You have to wear pants. Nothing in the Constitution says that your employer can require you to wear pants, but
do you have to wear pants? Maybe you can wear a dress.
No, I will be fair. Yeah, you can't wave your genitals around. Actually, it depends on the job.
How about a skirt? If I'm a firefighter, can I wear a skirt?
I believe that's against safety regulations.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it would make a good poster, though.
It would. Yeah.
I've seen hot firemen in skirts.
I've seen some of those firefighting calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen the ones with they're wearing kilts.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think first responders, because they do again come in contact with vulnerable populations. And it's just keeping the populace that you come in contact with safe. To be fair, we'd probably even extend that at least for prison employees. Possibly, do they have to get immunized for TB?
I don't think anybody cares about when it comes to prisons.
In prisons.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody cares. I mean, most people, when they see someone who goes to prison, they just want them to be executed and be over with. Eye for an eye. Oh, it didn't matter. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry for those 3,860 people who have been prosecuted and convicted of murder, who've been exonerated later on that they never did the crime.
Well, not only that.
We don't want to think about that as a society.
I don't think we
want to. Because it's only a tiny percentage of the millions.
I don't think we want to be a punitive society.
Yes, we do.
I think we should be a restorative.
I hear it every day. Everybody just wants to just lock them away. Execute them, feed them absolute garbage. We feed them dog food. They don't deserve anything more. And I'm like, what if they're innocent? What if they're proven innocent later on? Well, they were guilty of something anyways. They should have been in prison. They always do with the same flip-flop on it. As soon as they never would have gotten that far if they would have had a criminal history before that.
And I would argue, even if they're guilty, people still deserve basic rights. And for a country that claims it's founded on Christian values, because I read that all the time, it seems to me that the guy who said, "Hey, don't murder the prostitute," probably wouldn't be cool with people being, all fire and brimstone on prisoners either.
You would think, but it's not the way it is. Yeah. So back to unemployment.
To unemployment.
You're facing obviously longer unemployment than you have definitely intended.
Yeah,
we're going broke.
I have been out of the job market. Well, not I haven't. So my first foray into hospital work. I used to work at a clinic, and then I worked at a patient service center. Um, I basically pressured them to hire me.
No, well, now you're gonna have to pressure them to hire you back.
Well, so the staff at the laboratory in the hospital at that time was owned by the same company that
Right.
I worked for, right? And they needed people to help out on the weekends, so I got it. You remember, I got approval to work to help out at the hospital in exchange for overtime pay on the weekends after my shift. And I applied for every position that came open. Every time I sent in an application, and they would always hire somebody else. And I'd show up, and I'd do my shift, and after at the helping out, and afterwards I'd wait around for the boss to come, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm still here. You guys are still paying me overtime. Why not just hire me and pay me regular, right? You're losing money, man. Just hire me." Um, and yeah, eventually, Larry just told Mike, "We just fucking hire her because she's not leaving. Just hire her." So then I got hired on. Within a couple of months, I got a promotion. A couple months after that, I took the course, the CA training. And then I was there for close to 20 years.
Well, you were there close to 24 total.
Yeah, if you count the time at the previous company, yeah. And then I was like, well, there's no place else to go. Where do I go? Oh, I'll go over here, right? And it was a good company to work for, and I really appreciated the experience, but not knowing when my schedule was going to be, well, it took a huge impact on our little one. No longer worked for me, so I have applied back to my previous position, and I've been in contact with my old bosses and all of my old coworkers the whole time, so it's not like they didn't know. In fact, I messaged my old boss, and I was like, "Hey, so I see you guys got a position open." And she's like, "Yeah, are you interested?" And I'm like, "I might be. Check your inbox. I already sent you my resume." um,
So during your total unemployment, how many jobs do you think you've applied for where you were over qualified or extremely qualified for the job?
well over 100.
How many interviews have you gone on?
3.
How many times have you turned down job offers?
Exactly 0.
How many of those 3 positions do you know that they've actually put a person in now?
Roughly 35.
35 positions of the 3 you've interviewed for.
Oh yeah, well one of the, sorry.
No, oh my God.
Hold on.
How the hell did they do that? A
One,
lot of turnover rate in those 3 jobs.
Two of the interviews that I did were for multiple positions in the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have gone there. Maybe it was the best thing if they had such a high turnover rate.
Two of the interviews were for.
Yeah, we burn through an employee every 3 hours.
Like, shit, how rough is your training, bro?
Yeah. I mean, it's going through 35 employees for 3 interviews.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of them haven't even reviewed my application yet. There was one at the VA that I applied for.
I told you don't apply there because it takes 6 months for them to set up a doctor's appointment for me, and then when it comes time to it, inevitably every time I've done it, they've canceled my appointment just before I'm supposed to have it.
Yes, that job closed a month ago, and the status is still listed as being reviewed. So,
yeah, the VA system sucks. I see it we saw it in the news. Oh, they're doing all this, great work. They've cut down, wait times and everything else. And I'm like, fucking where? Where? I can't get in. My friends' dads, we can't get into the VA. We have a little clinic that's in a nearby, it's in our same town, in a federal complex.
That's the one I applied for.
Yeah, and that place alone, just to get in there to see the doctor to renew our medication, it takes 3 weeks.
Oh, my stepdad doesn't even go to that one
3
anymore.
weeks just to get in to sit down and go, are you still diabetic? Okay, yeah, you can still have your insulin.
My stepdad won't go to that one. He goes to.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
There's
so many of us who absolutely refuse to go back there. It's like you go there and you end up waiting in the hallway where they just line the hallways with chairs, and because they have a waiting room, but they line the hallways down both sides with chairs, and people will go there, get there at 6 o'clock in the morning, just so they can hopefully see someone by 7 before it closes, all day long. Don't ever get up. If you do, you have to go with a buddy, and they sit there and they wait while you use the bathroom, and you come back, and then they go to the bathroom, and then they come back. It's the only way to get in there. Love the way the government treats us. Well, you'll get medical and everything.
Well,
when you
hey,
come
maybe
back.
once they start hiring
Thank you for
more,
putting your ass on the line.
maybe once they hire more people.
They're not going to do it. It'll probably be a fiscal, like 2023 before they actually fill the position.
Well, to be fair, you can't really blame the VA because it takes a literal act of Congress to change anything, and they've tied the VA down so much. Most of the people I know who work for the VA do it because it's a passion of theirs. They want to take care of veterans.
I mean, I'm not dissing the people who actually really do work there. It does take an awful lot of time and a lot of, you have to want to be there because you could make more money working at a positions,
Absolutely.
at temporary, like immediate care or, an OWI clinic. You can make more money working there than you can working for the VA.
They do have a pretty impressive TB lab.
Who does?
The VA.
Oh, I don't know anything about their lab. I just know how long the waits are just to get in to see a doctor there. Even when you have one, like I said, you have an appointment, they just cancel it on you. It's like, oh, thanks. Wow, that's great. Well, as long as you guys are doing, lip service still in the national media about how great you guys have gotten. But, I know you applied there. It's just, that's one of the many places you've applied that has never, even bothered to respond back. And I know personally from firsthand experience, they need help. They need somebody in the positions there, but it ain't gonna happen. But that's why so many of us, like your father-in-law, myself, Ned's dad, we've all just given up. We're not going back. We've tried so many times. Rather pay out of pocket and go someplace else. Wow. What are you gonna do, right? So what's next on the list of unemployment, prayers, Hail Mary passes?
Well,
think you'll ever get the unemployment benefits you applied for 3 months ago?
Yes, I figure I'll probably get them roughly a month after I get my first paycheck from whichever job I finally get.
Yeah,
and then about a week after that, I'll get a letter saying that they overpaid me and they want most of that back.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah, the system is frustrating. I've never applied for unemployment before, and I think I kind of bought the rhetoric for a while because it was like, oh my god, it's so easy, people just get unemployment. And I'm like, expecting that this would be a smooth, streamlined process and not. At least they're taking my phone calls now.
Ooh.
Yeah, the first month I hadn't heard anything. When I called, I didn't even get an option. Well, okay, so I would call, no one would answer, and I'd leave a message. And then, like, a week or so after that, every time I called, I didn't even get a chance to leave a message. It was just like, yeah, we're super busy, click. And now I actually get to talk to somebody. So I feel like that's an improvement,
After 3 months, they finally got to the point where they hired enough, people at a call center to take your call. Well,
I did actually apply for. I applied for a couple of jobs, remote jobs, and by a couple I mean like roughly 50, from the Midwest to the Atlantic.
Nothing in Wisconsin, is there?
No. Well, one of the reasons so there was a bunch of online MA jobs and stuff like that.
She could apply for a job in Wisconsin and we could relocate there. I happen to have a house there.
Yeah, no, it's cold. I'm not going.
Minnesota? It's not that far.
It's cold. I'm not going.
Twin Cities?
It's cold. I'm not going.
I got family who like me there.
It's cold. I'm not going.
I kid. They don't like me.
They like you just fine. But with the time difference.
What?
Yeah. Oh. So these remote jobs that I've applied for, they're remote MA positions. If you've ever done telehealth, it's the person that talks to you before you get a hold of the provider, and then they talk to you afterwards, about prescriptions and stuff like that. Like, anyway, With the time difference, it works absolutely perfect for what we're looking for. I would start working,
Weird.
obviously, yeah,
Okay, I don't know. I didn't know.
as
I didn't know I had any
the
feedback
family.
into this.
Well, because while I would start
You
working,
need to make a money
yeah,
so you can pay your bills.
before Tiny goes to school, right?
Right.
But I would be off work either just as he's getting home or shortly afterwards. And the hours are consistent. So it's absolutely, it's would fit 100% in what we're looking for. But at this point in time, I would literally do anything.
Well, and I don't think that I want to make sure that everybody out there understands exactly what we are saying and what the point we're trying to get across. This is not specific just to her and her type of field of work. All right. We are seeing and we know people in multiple different levels, management, all the way down to those who are working, maybe they're working maybe $3 more an hour. From that level all the way up to upper management. We are seeing these issues everywhere across the board. So we have experience, and knowledge in one area, but we're not discounting anybody in the top lower tiers. Maybe they're going through college and they just have they're looking for a part-time job to make ends meet. We are seeing this everywhere. These companies have put things out there. They're on the evening news every night talking about how they can't get anybody to work. Nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody is applying for their jobs, and rightfully so. Nobody wants to go to work for Pizza Hut for minimum wage when across the street from Pizza Hut is another pizza establishment with the same deal in store dining, delivery, and is paying $4 more an hour. That $4 an hour place is getting 900 applications, and Pizza Hut is getting a few, and we are seeing it everywhere across the board. And they're like, well, Pizza Hut says we can't do it. We can't offer that $4 more an hour because our bottom line is, we would have to pass that cost on to the customer. When in all actuality, if you look at the total bottom line of the pizza chain and what they actually spend on the ingredients and the delivery costs and everything else, the bake, the insurance, everything, they didn't become $100 billion profit company overnight because, well, they kept everybody down at the bottom. They could afford to pay more. They just don't want to, and they want the narrative to be to you that they can't afford to pay it. When the company across the street is kicking their ass and paying more, how is it that they're able to do it? They're a smaller company and they have much larger overhead and costs and everything else, insurance, everything all the way up the line. It's a lot more, but they're kicking their ass profit wise and in a lot of cases quality. So
Yeah.
and we're seeing it from everywhere from here again all the way up. Everybody's putting out these this narrative that there's jobs out there. You just have to go out and apply for them. Somebody needs to do it. Well, they're doing it because they're getting that $500 extra from the federal government.
That ran out.
That's all gone, ladies and gentlemen, and they ain't coming back. They're not going to pass another stimulus bill tomorrow and add another $500 to everybody's unemployment check. The ones that you're not getting, the ones our friends are not getting. I have friends who've been in the same business and worked in production, in a processing plant. They've been there for 20 years. They've been unemployed since April, and they have not received a dime in unemployment since then. For us, it really sucks. But we're making it go of it because we saved our money and we were able to weather the storms thus far. But it's getting down there now. So
Yeah. Mom, what's for breakfast? Looks like our options are toast.
that's not true. That's not true. We eat damn well. For somebody who's on unemployment, there's always me, and I have my income. But what did we have last night? Gratin potatoes, roasted pork loin, marinated, organic carrots. That's a really shitty meal for somebody who's on unemployment for 3 months.
That
Because I made it.
that is because we food budget well, and we
We
buy.
but we budget a lot of things.
We typically eat pretty much the same. Well, not the same stuff, but we eat a lot of pork, beef, stuff like that.
Chicken, a lot of chicken too.
So whenever something goes on Uber sale that we typically eat a lot of, we buy extra and put it in the
We have
freezer.
it, but yeah, we do store a lot of food, but I'm just saying we're your example of what's for breakfast, toast. That's a far cry from where we're at. We're not
Okay.
starving.
I'm not cooking
We have
breakfast.
power, obviously. We everything that all of our basic needs are taken care of. Sure, I would love to be able to take care of some other things, and pay off some bills a little bit quicker, but we're getting by. So I just don't want people to take the wrong message, like, my God, they're into the bottom of the hole. They're not going to survive.
Hey, I find a job soon.
But I hope you get a job soon too.
The money's gonna run out eventually.
Well, I was thinking about that, but I was also thinking about, I really do love you, but I'm sick and tired of seeing you every single day, all day long.
Same, babe. Same.
So it's mutual. She's got to get a job. You have to go somewhere.
I'm tired of looking at you. All right.
Well,
let's wrap
I
this
am.
up.
I am too. And every morning I will have to wake up and I still look at myself in the mirror. Every day, the same person's there. I'm hoping one of these days I'm going to look in the mirror and it's going to be George Clooney, but it hasn't turned out that way so far.
That's weird because I hope that when you wake up in the morning, it'll be Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah, but I think George Clooney's more of an attractive man than Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, how about this? We'll wake up tomorrow. You'll be Ryan Reynolds. I'll be George Clooney.
Oh, wait, how about this? I wake up and I'm Jason Momoa.
Momoa?
Momoa? Yeah,
Yeah.
Momoa.
Did
Mimosas.
Did
Yeah,
you say Jason Mimosa?
Yeah, how about that?
Are you day drinking?
I should be.
All right, let's go. This is getting silly.
Okay, so, all right, I'm not going to wake up as somebody else tomorrow. It's just going to be me.
No. I thought we agreed.
No, we didn't.
Ryan Reynolds.
No. Oh, George Clooney.
I'll be George Clooney.
I look more like George Clooney than you do. I don't think they're buying it.
All right. Thank you for joining us. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. All right, you have to hit the stop button because
You sure about that? Because it looks to me like you're just watching football.
No, I'm keeping track of it because that's that's something that interests me. All right, I'll get situated here, and then you can do the intro.
Can I do the intro?
You can today. I'm going to allow you to do the intro.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I am.
Are you ready?
I am as ready as Skippy butter.
As what?
Skippy peanut butter. Skippy peanut butter. You open up the jar. It's all ready to go.
Is that all peanut butter already ready?
No,
to go?
not your Adams. Your
Oh,
Adams
yeah,
peanut butter. You got to
it.
mix all that stuff up. Mix the oil back in.
It definitely develops your arms.
Yeah.
The amount of that shit's hard to stir.
Homemade peanut butter. Got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
The Skippy peanut butter. You open up, peel off the foil, ready to go.
True. So you're as ready as Skippy. All right. Ooh, there. You don't look ready to me. You're fidgeting.
I'm not fidgeting.
Got to put on your professional face.
This is.
Hi. Welcome to.
All right, let's try again.
Stop it with your face. Hi. God damn it.
Go ahead, go.
Hi.